Hello everyone. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. Hope you all are quite okay and fine. I am also fine. Welcome you all to my today online class. Before going to start my today's lecture, first of all, I would like to introduce myself to all of you. My name is Mohammad Ghulam Mosher, lecturer of biology, Milestone College, Uttara Dhaka. Now today I am going to discuss about some important topics, that is the functions of the muscles. I will be discussed here the role of bones and muscles in human locomotion. I will be discussed about tendon and ligament briefly. I will be discussed here some disease in bone. These are the topics that will be discussed here today, and these topics are under the chapter 9, firmness and locomotion. Now the learning objectives of my today's lecture. After completing my today's lecture, student would able to know, or you can easily define some important definition like tendon, ligament, biceps and triceps. You can also explain some important functions of the muscles. You can also explain the role of bone and muscle in human locomotion. You can explain the structure and functions of tendon and ligament. You can able to describe about causes, symptoms, remedy and treatments of osteoporosis and rheumatoid arthritis. Now let's discuss about the muscular system or muscle. Human muscular system is basically consisting of three kinds of muscle. Number one, involuntary muscle, which are found in the blood vessels, gastrointestinal tract. The cardiac muscle is specialized types of muscle which are only found in the heart muscle, that is the myocardium layer. The number three, the skeletal muscle, which remain attached to the bone, and this muscle is also called the voluntary muscle. Now let's discuss about the functions of the muscular system. Human muscular system performs various important functions. Some of the important functions of the muscular system will be discussed here today. Now the main functions of the muscular system is the movement of the organ, helps in movement, placing the organ in orderly manner and balancing. Basically, the muscles can help in the movement of the organs. We can move from one place to another by the help of the muscle, and muscle actually is responsible for movement of the various kinds of organs like hands, feet, legs, etc. The muscular system along with skeletal systems give a definite structure that store energy for future, and muscles can also store glycogen. Muscle have the ability to store excess glucose as glycogen by the process of the glycogenesis. But when there is a deficiency of glucose in the muscle, and this glycogen is again broken down to form glucose molecule, and which is utilized for the production of energy by the process of the cellular respiration. The cardiac muscles are of special types, and it maintains the heartbeat and blood circulation. Muscles give active role in expulsion of stool from the body and in the movement of the food particle inside the alimentary canal. The defecation of the stool is actually take places by the peristaltic movement of the colon. So the expulsion of the stool from the body is actually helped by the continuous peristaltic movement of the colon, and we can also intake various kinds of food in our daily life, and this food actually moves from upper portion of the gastrointestinal tract to the lower portion by the continuous peristaltic movement of the smooth muscle of the alimentary canal. So this smooth muscle is actually helps in eliminating the stool from our body, as well as is also responsible for movement of the food from upper portion of the gastrointestinal tract to the lower portion. Now the role of bones and muscles in human locomotion. Look at the figure here. Now I am discussing about how this muscle plays a very important role in the locomotion or human locomotion. Actually, three organ system is basically responsible for locomotion or movement of our hands or feet or legs, etc. But how can it possible? Now I am explain uh, one of the example. If you look at the figure here, you can easily understand how we can bend our hand, or how can we bend our hands or uh, elbow joints. Look at the figure here, the elbow joints. At the upper arm of the hands bear a pair of antagonistic muscle, that is the biceps muscle, which are located the upper portion of the upper arm, and the triceps is another antagonistic types of muscle that is actually located the lower portion of the upper arm. And and tendon is a connective tissue that actually helps in bindings of muscle to the bone. And biceps muscles, the top portion of the bicep muscle is attached to the scapula of the pectoral girdle through a tendon, and the bottom portion of the biceps muscle is also attached to the radius of the lower arm. Actually, when a nerve impulse or motor nerve impulse is transmitted from brain to the biceps muscle, the biceps muscle get contracted. As a result, the tendon pull the lower arm, that is the radius ulnar, toward the upper arm. So we can easily bend our hand. When the biceps muscle get contracted, at that time the triceps becomes relaxed, and when we want to straight our hand, or if we want to straight our hand, the triceps muscle get contracted and the biceps become relaxed. And so by the continuous or simultaneous contraction and relaxation of the biceps and triceps muscle, we can bend our hand and straight our hands again and again. And this is a very simple mechanism. I think you can understand about the process, or how can we bend our hand or straight our hand. And this bending or straight of our hand is actually accomplished by the biceps and triceps muscle, and three kinds of organ system is actually helps in the movement of our hands. That is the nervous system and skeletal system and the muscular system. Now let's discuss about the tendon. What is tendon? First of all, you have to know about what is tendon. Actually, the terminal portion of a muscle form a rope-like strong structure which is attached to the bone is called the tendon. This strong terminal portion of the bone is called tendon. Actually, tendon is a connective tissue that helps or that can connect muscle to the bone. Tendon are composed of dense, white fibrous connective tissue. Unbranched white fiber is scattered in the matrix. These are composed of parallel bundle. Numerous fiber form a bundle. This bundle together makes a bunch of bundle. The outer surface of the bundle are surrounded by areolar tissue and make a big bunch. Blood vessel, lymphatic duct, and nerves enters into the tendon through the areolar tissue. Now let's discuss about the ligament. If you look at the figure here, you can see here the tendon and the ligament. The ligament is a connective tissue which actually helps to connect the two bones together. Now let's discuss about some important feature of the ligaments. Ligaments have some important properties or feature. I'll be discussed here some important feature of the ligament. Bones are attached to each other by a thin cloth-like soft but strong elastic band-like structure. These are called ligament. They are composed of a combination of white and yellow fiber. Two kinds of fibers is help uh, responsible for make the ligaments. The number of elastic yellow fiber is excessive. A fine branch network of elastic fiber is scattered in these kinds of tissue. The fiber is stays separate instead of bundle. These have elasticity and are composed of elastic protein. They are fibroblast cell in the fiber. Now let's discuss about some important differences between tendon and ligament. If you have a clear understanding or clear conception regarding the tendonal ligament, then you can easily differentiate it from tendon and ligaments easily. Now let's discuss about some important differences between tendon and ligament. Tendon, the terminal portion of the muscle, form a rope-like structure which is attached to the bone is known as tendon. This is the simple definition of this tendon. But ligaments bones are actually attached to each other by a thin cloth-like soft but strong elastic band-like structure which is called the ligament. Tendons are actually composed of dense white fibrous connective tissue, but ligaments is composed of combination of white and yellow fiber. The tissues of the tendon are actually composed of unbranched, wavy and shiny white fibers, but tissues of the ligaments are fine branched network of elastic fibers remain scattered in these kinds of tissue. The tendon tissues are mainly composed of parallel bundle, and in case of ligament, this fiber stays separated instead of staying in bundle. Tendon have no elasticity, ligament have elasticity. Now some important disease of bone. Now let's discuss about the osteoporosis. Osteoporosis is a calcium deficiency disease. There are some risk factors of osteoporosis disease. The elderly male and female suffer from this disease. There is a high chance of having this disease in male who are taking medicine with steroid. Normally, people are taking different types of steroid drug to relieve the pain of different types of disease. For example, rheumatoid arthritis, and sometimes if a people take steroid drugs in regular basis, and this steroid can actually is a catabolic in action, and it is responsible for decreasing the bone mineral density of aged people or elderly people. So there is a chance of developing osteoporosis of elderly people who are taking steroid in their daily life. But female after menopause means the cessation of the means. After 40 or 45 years old, the means are stopped permanently at this stage, and this condition is actually called the menopause. And the female after menopause suffer from osteoporosis due to the deficiency of the estrogen, because during the menopausal stage the estrogen release is completely stops or reduced. As a result, bone mineral density will be also reduced, so osteoporosis may be developed. Those who lead lazy life, do less physical labor, suffering from arthritis. These are the risk factors of the osteoporosis. Now the causes and symptoms. There are various causes of osteoporosis. Some of the important causes will be mentioned here. The deficiency of of mineral salts, particularly of calcium. Symptoms, there are some symptoms of osteoporosis. Bone becomes brittle, thickness decreases, muscle strength reduce, feel back pain, pain in the bone. These are the symptoms of the osteoporosis disease. Now, the diagnosis. How can we diagnose the osteoporosis disease? And what are the medication or remedy of the osteoporosis disease? Now, let's discuss about these two, the diagnosis and remedy of osteoporosis. Diagnosed by examining the density of the bone with the help of the density measuring equipment. A density measuring equipment is a special types of equipment that actually helps in determining the bone mineral density of the bone. So we can easily detect or diagnose the osteoporosis by using this density measuring equipment. Now the remedy or treatments, actually elderly people should take 1200 milligram calcium per day. So the calcium supplement is the only solution or remedy for or treatment for the osteoporosis disease. Drink skim milk and other dairy products. Consume orange juice, green vegetables, soy product, and calcium in this food. Now the prevention, come in contact with adequate sunlight, taking vitamin D and calcium in this food, because vitamin D is an essential vitamin which helps in the absorption of the calcium from the intestine, and so we should take vitamin D as well as calcium food. Regular exercise. Those who are elderly already suffering from osteoporosis should take doctor advice before starting exercise. Take balanced and cellulose-rich food. Now discuss about another bone disease, that is the rheumatoid arthritis. But what are the symptoms of the rheumatoid arthritis? Actually, rheumatoid arthritis is an autoimmune disease. Autoimmune disease means sometimes the cartilage of the bone act as a foreign particles. So our immune system can react against that particular cartilage that actually cover the bone joint and reduce the friction of the bone. And sometimes this cartilage becomes damaged. As a result, rheumatoid arthritis may be developed. Now there are some. Now discuss about some symptoms of the rheumatoid arthritis. Inflammation and the pain in the bone joint. Stiff bone joint. We cannot easily move our bone, and this is called the stiffness of the bone joint. Pain during articular movement, joint swelling, and the remedy. The avoid hard labor. Apply lukewarm heat in the affected joint. Do light exercise to keep joint movable. According to the doctor advice, taking pain relieving medicine and proper treatment can relieve of the disease. And the prevention, regular exercise according to the doctor taking advice, taking a balanced and fibrous food. Now the homework, write down the differences between tendon and ligament. These are the homework. This is the homework. Thank you everybody for your passionate sharing. I think today's lecture was the very effective lecture for all of us. I am requesting you to watch my video lecture for several times so that you can understand each and every topics that have already discussed here today. If you have any queries regarding today's lecture, or if you have any confusion regarding today's lecture, don't hesitate to ask me, or you can feel free to ask anytime, or you can also ask your respective subject teacher regarding your queries. Thank you everybody. Thank you all.